So how was your opening weekend? Mine? Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Fix. I am Richard from the Dipsy Dudes, and the first game week is done and dusted. It is in the book, and what an interesting first week. Shock results, last minute comebacks, goals from expected and unexpected sources. Classic fantasy football fodder. I hope your team had a good showing. I would say mine was a steady average. I'll get into that a little bit later. Let's check out and start this week's show by reviewing week one. And what better way to have a look at who the big players were than having a look at the Premier League Dream Team. Hey, remember last week when I mocked playing 5-4-1 as a formation and said that defenders don't win championships, attackers do? This week's Dream Team formation is 5-4-1 with a host of goal-scoring defenders. Hull's James Chester and Eric Dyer of Spurs, who I've been calling Dyer for years, we're top point scorers with 15 points each. Must be honest, I was really impressed with Dyer's opening showing. We talked a little bit about him when we were looking at Spurs as a defensive option last week, and I tell you what, I was really impressed. Chester and Dyer are 4.5 and 5 million respectively, and I've got to be honest, I'm thinking that the Spurs man might be worth a dabble. If you weren't on Gylfi Sigurdsson last week, I've one thing to say for you. Told you so. Unfortunately for Man United, he fits into the Swans team so well. He just sits in the pocket behind the striker, which is a position I love to see that kind of player in, just sitting in the pocket. So many players want to play in the pocket at the moment, and he does brilliantly at it. He's settled in straight away, and I will say, when it comes to Sigurdsson, lamp on. The £9 million club was represented by Aaron Ramsey and Cesc Fabregas this week, FYI. David Silva did grab himself a goal. Mr. Ramsey is quickly becoming Mr. Points, and if you got him, you should feel very confident in the next couple of weeks, and if not, ooh, you might need to get on him, otherwise you're going to miss the boat. Last week I questioned whether Cesc Fabregas was going to be allowed to run the show at Chelsea. Well, in the first 30 minutes against Burnley, he answered that question emphatically. He's another player that if you went for him, you can sleep well tonight. Bang! Sterling looked really exciting as well, and the young man maybe is poised to kick on again this season. Sturridge and Sterling are the most reliable players to have in your team, followed closely by Gerrard, so if you go in Liverpool, it's got to be one of those two. And up top, all by himself, a left field option, it's Bruno of West Brom, who was the only striker to get a brace in week one. Now last week we were looking at players to pick for the whole season, but with week one down, you have to change your mindset straight away. You're not looking at just the big picture of all 38 games, you got to look at next week. It's week to week management. So let's check out week two's fixtures and see where the big points are going to be coming from. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Ron Vlaar is 4.5 million, and he is one of the most selected players in fantasy football. As for Newcastle, the team does look exciting, and there was some promise against Man City. They've got a lot of new signings who I'd say dabble on one or two of them, they're worth it, but are they still bedding in at this point? Will we only see Newcastle progress in the next few weeks? I'd say might be worth bringing in the big Dutchman Vlaar, and if you're looking for someone to sneak a goal, Weimann as a left field option. Got a goal last week, and he does have a way of cropping up with goals. Chelsea versus Leicester. Leicester showed promise by getting a point against Everton in the opening day, and Newman getting a goal was great. But for me, Chelsea are the team you've got to lump on this week. Gotta be a home win, gotta be some goals in it. If you've got a Chelsea man in your team already, midfielder or striker, you've got to be putting the big C on him. And by that, I mean make them your captain. Of course. Swansea versus Burnley. Get on Sigurdsson for one. Seriously, get on him. I cannot stress it enough. He is going up in value already, so don't miss the boat. Ashley Williams was brilliant against Man United, unfortunately. He's 5 million, so it would be a bit of a gamble to put him in. If he was 4.5 million, just £500,000 cheaper, I would be saying, get Ashley Williams in your side now. Get him in, he's looking great, go for it. But for 5 million, is that money better spent elsewhere? Maybe so. I was really impressed by Gomez's cameo. He came on for about the last 15 in the Man United game, and I thought he looked really good. He actually linked up with Sigurdsson really well, and probably should have scored a goal if it wasn't for a last-ditch tackle from Man United. But I don't think he's going to get the nod ahead of Boney. Not yet, anyway. They're going to stick with Boney. So, someone to keep an eye on, because he's looking promising, but not yet. Sunderland versus Manchester United. Simply put, if you have a Man United player in your team and his name isn't Wayne Rooney, get him out. Get him out now. Get him out of that team of yours. Seriously, no exceptions. I mean, I know we've got this new fella, Rojo. Whether he's going to start this weekend, I don't know. I imagine not, which means we'll get the trio of Smalling, Jones and Blackett back together again. The old band back together, I suppose. But yeah, seriously, bloody shambles there at the moment, so no Man United players until further notice. Spurs versus QPR. I fancy Spurs for the win, and I fancy a Spurs clean sheet. So get on a Spurs defender, we've already talked about Dyer, or get on the keeper, Lloris. The problem is, at Spurs, none of the midfielders or attackers really excite me enough to get on them. Exception to that rule being Eriksen. He is the closest they've got to a talisman, and I think he's a real talent. Other than that, they could, they couldn't, who knows. I would say that, you know, one of them has got to score the goals to win that game, because I fancy him to win. But apart from Eriksen, I wouldn't really bank on which one it would be. Everton versus Arsenal and Man City versus Liverpool. I put these two games together because they have similar characteristics. They're games that are going to be close calls. There won't be much in it. Though anything can happen in the best league in the world. Trademark Sky Sports. But if you've got players in this game, chances are they're your big money players. They're your marquee players. Hell, they may even be your captains. You've got to back them to deliver in the big games. Plus Ramsey, Silva, Sterling, Sturridge, Aguero, just looking so bloody good last week. It's going to be a brave man to decide, yeah, not this week, fellas, out you go. So I say, be confident with your big players in big games, because they're going to be close, but they can be very, very beneficial. The best of the rest. A couple of people have mentioned to me, is it Tadic of Southampton as a player to watch? He's 7.5 million, only 2% of managers actually have him, and it's Saints versus Albion at St Mary's. I'd say a left field shout for him. Even with Tony Pulis walking from Palace late on Thursday night, Hangeland still became the big man coming up for the set piece, and I will stick by that. Despite the shenanigans at Crystal Palace, I still think Hangeland is worth keeping in your team. Still not sure who at West Ham is worth having. I mean, to me, the jury is still out on Big Sam's team, Who's your talisman? Who's your big point scorer? Who's your goals and assist machine? Who knows? Can Alan McGregor have another big week for Hull? Maybe. I've got to be honest though, I'm thinking that Stoke are going to get a goal this week. I fancy them for a goal. Not saying they're going to win, but I fancy them getting on the scoreboard, and I fancy one of their strikers to do it. So it's going to be Bojan or Diouf to get on the scoreboard this week. 5 and 6.5 respectively. Look out for it, you heard it here. The Herbie rule. What does a good week look like? Of course you chat with your friends about fantasy football and it's all, oh yeah, so-and-so got an assist for me, oh my captain got this and a bonus point, yeah, it's a good week. But what is an actual definition of a good week? What is a number that you can define as a good week? I'll tell you exactly what it is. If you're looking to win a league, whether it be the Dipsy Dudes Divisional Championship, whether it be your own private league with your own friends, you've got to be looking to hitting the 2,000 point mark minimum. 2,000 points will win you championships usually. Now, what have you got to average every week to ensure you get 2,000? 53 points. In a nutshell, anything below 53 is a letdown. Anything 53 and higher, and you're on course for league glory. So remember, if you want to win your league, it's Herbie or higher. The Dipsy Dudes Divisional Championship. Remember, we've got our own private league. You can join it. I'll put all the descriptions and all the information for that in the description. But here's the standings after week 1. Apes are top of the league with 75 points despite a shambolic defence. Absolutely unbelievable midfield scores, including a captain's effort from Sterling getting 26 points. It has meant they are top of the league, followed 5 points back by Goalfellas, who can thank strong efforts from Fabregas, Ramsey, James Chester and Wayne Rooney. Rounding off the top 3, it's your old one with 68 points. Again, captain Rooney getting the points for him, Ramsey, Sterling in there as well, and a goal from Diego Costa. Also got himself Ron Vlaar as well, who came in with a really good 8-point haul. However, it's only week 1. Everyone's still in touching distance, so don't hit the panic button. I was speaking to a friend of mine who was talking about playing their wild card. I said, mate, no one loses a league title in week 1. But people lose league titles playing wild cards in week 2. So even if you've had a so-so week, even if it doesn't abide by the Herbie rule and it's 53, lower than 53, do not panic. There's still plenty of time and plenty of football to be played. I'd just like to state that out of all of the Dipsy Dudes, I am the highest placed Dipsy Dude in the Dipsy Dude Divisional Championship. So, sucks to be Adam and Rob. So that's week 2 of the Fantasy Football Fix. We will be back next week with more. Remember, you can subscribe to the Dipsy Dudes channel, which means you'll be able to get the latest videos as soon as they come out and keep up to date with everything we're doing here. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook as well. All the social medias. Well, those 2 anyway. You'll find up-to-date comments on most of the football during the weekend on the Twitter and the Facebook. But from me, Richard, thank you very much for watching, and good luck to all you fantasy football managers out there for week 2. Let's do this.